is now recording.
Does it like never go away?
So I.
Oh, it's recording.
He's doing it less.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
You can hear you too.
Hi guys.
Hey. -9.
So basically he's saying don't talk.
What?
I don't know what number 3 is.
Hey, my fellow guardian.
It's on the computer.
So guys, everything we're saying right now.
I can't look back. I can only 3 and 6.
David,
Sorry.
what you
I can't look back, Riley. In trouble.
Can you hear us?
I didn't finish it, but that's fine.
Riley, we get it.
All right, now here, let's take a look at what you got. Did Ashley, did you get finished? Did you get finished? All right, so, Lainey, how far are you? Number 4. All right, not bad. Emily, done? Okay, good. All right, let's just take a look at your answers here. We'll go over them as needed. All right, for the first one, now remember, multiplies of 14 adds get 9. 7 and 2, so it's x plus 7 times x plus 2. Same deal on the second one, but it's going to be -9 and +5. So x minus 9 times x plus 5. But for 3 and 4, you got to multiply 2 times 9, which is 18. What multiplies to 18 and adds to -9? It would be -6 and -3. And don't forget, we make that then 2x squared minus 6x minus 3x plus 9. Take out your GCF. And I'll make that GCF a negative. Okay, so you're going to do that. And then you should get 2x minus 3 times x minus 3. For 4, same idea. You get 2x minus 3 times x plus 5. And then for number 5, that's a difference of squares. That's the kind of like the fancy name for that. 2x minus 5 times 2x plus 5 for those. Got to keep reinforcing those because they're going to keep coming up in different things. All right, homework-wise. All right, 13. What'd you get, Michael Carney? What'd you get for 13?
I got 1 and 8.
Say that again?
1 and 8.
1 and positive 8, you said?
Yeah.
1 and 8. All right, Isabel Card, what'd you get for 14?
-2, -11.
-2, -11. David, what'd you get for 15?
-2, -2.
-2 and -2. And Brooke, what'd you get for 16?
3.
3 and what?
10.
10? All right, let's take a look. Now, you at least gave me all in the right format. They all should be points. That's good to see. And they're all correct. Okay, 1, 8 for 13. 14 is -2, -11. 15 is -2, -2. And 16 is 3 10s. All right, John, how do we go? How do we find the vertex for any of these? What's the procedure?
I did x equals -b/2a.
Okay, x equals -b/2a because we got to get that x term. What's the b for number 13 here? 10, so it's -10. What's the a?
-5.
And then you end up with -10 over -10, which is 1. That's how we get the 1. Where'd the 8 come from?
Whenever you plug in the 1, the equation.
Good. Plug your 1 into the equation, you get back 8. Okay. All right, very good. What's the next one? 18. What does it ask us? Can the arrow pass over a tree that is 68 feet tall? You should find the vertex. What does the vertex, the arrow go about 66 feet. I'm assuming it comes out to a decimal. What was your x coordinate? Was it 1.97? So we agree with that? All right, so it didn't come out to a nice number. That's okay. Oh. 1.97, and then what'd you actually get, Bella, for the y value?
66.02.
Okay, 66.02. So it comes close, but it doesn't get up to 68 feet. So very good there. All right, 1921. Just check the zeros. 19 has no zeros. Please put this down as -8, 0, -2, 0. That's all you're asking for is the zeros. It's where it hits the graph. That's it. Don't make that harder. Max, what do you got for 23?
I got x is equal to 6.
X equals 6. All you're doing is find the axis symmetry, cuts it in half. All right, 25. Lana, what do you got for 25?
I got -0.5 and 0.
What does it ask for 25? Find the axis of symmetry. All right, well, for that one, just write x equals -0.5 or -1/2. 27, Styles, what do you got for that?
8 over -4. That was not right.
What's 8 divided by -4?
-2.
Yeah. All right, so you're saying it's -2?
I guess, but no, I know it's wrong.
There's no 8 or 4 in the problem.
There's a 4.
All right, a 4 at the end. Where'd the 8 come from?
I don't know, man. It's just what I have in my paper.
You have something like reasonable. All right, hey, listen up. For 27, opposite of B, B is -5, make it +5 over 2 times a half. So it's 5 over 1, x equals 5. 29, Aiden, what do you got? And it's okay to have decimals. Now, a lot of you might have decimals. What's -7 over 2 the same as? 3.5. And what's 49 over 4? Does anybody have 12.25? Emily, what do you got? Niedermeyer.
I got the first part of it right, but the second one I got -36.75.
Okay. Double check that because you got -3.5. When I do this on my calculator, it's x squared plus 7x. Make sure you put the negative in parentheses, -3.5 squared plus 7 times -3.5. So just double check that, how you enter it. All right? -12 and 4, same thing. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. 31, Joey, what you got?
-217.
-2 comma 17. All right, I hope you're right. Oh, I got -2.5.
For the last one, so it's okay if we have fractions for the answers then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's fine. All right, for this one, you had 17, Joey? All right, when you type into your calculator, you got to put a -2 first. Now our x value is -2, that goes in parentheses. -8 times -2 minus 3. Okay, so just be careful for that. All right. All right, we are moving into 9.3. I do have some guided notes. We are going to graph this, and it's easier to do this on guided notes. Remember, you can move out.
Something wrong with that? You know what you're doing right now.
Stop.
Thank you.
I don't know why I find
Yeah,
it so funny.
Me, I don't enjoy it.
I know, you and Jack, I don't know.
You acting like I'm the bad guy. You acting like I'm the bad guy. You acting like I'm the bad guy. Shut up. They do.
You guys are weird.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We're so polite.
Already dirty. I had them for 2 days and already dirty.
Are you done?
First I had black and white, but They don't
No.
know the size of the
Can't. I just have to move and I have to sit in the car. I'm
The
not-
one up to the other one up to the fourth.
Why are you staring at me?
Consider fifth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really wasn't even talking. Stop.
It's the fourth.
It is, no, it's
It's
fifth.
fifth.
It's the fifth.
Sure, your grades.
I'm sure.
It shows a third.
Alright, what's that?
On the board.
Yeah, up there.
Oh, up here.
Sorry,
Sorry.
that's what I looked at.
And there we go. And over here. Sorry.
She just finished
It looks like your homework, which is, we're just gonna use that as your notes. A couple things I need to go over first. Y-intercept. Okay, and you just need to pay attention to this. What is the y-intercept of a graph?
Line crosses the y-axis.
Where the line crosses the y-axis. So if I draw a parabola on this one here, Zane, how many times does that graph hit the y-axis? Once. Okay, for a parabola, can you think about anything that opens up or opens down? Can it hit the y-axis more than once? No, it can only hit it once. It can hit the x-axis twice because it does here, but it can only hit it once. All right, now just take a look at these cases here. This is the equation. What is the y-intercept for that graph? Okay, it is right there at 0, -2. This is the equation. What's the y-intercept? It is at 4. And this is the equation, and it hits it right here at -3. You can look at the equation and tell me the y-intercept. Okay, you should be able to, after this, look at this equation and tell me where it's going to hit. Well, where did that one hit at? It hit at -2. Okay, this one right here hit at 4, and this one here hits at -3. So if you look at the equation, what tells us where the y-intercept is? The c value, the constant. Okay, that will always tell us the y-intercept for them. So for here, our y-intercept was 0, -2. Here it was 0, 4. Here it was 0, -3. So that's going to come up. Basically, when you plug in 0 for x, it's going to make everything else equal 0 except that last constant. So to find the y-intercept, this shouldn't be that bad. All right, let's go through this one here. All right. Follow these steps. We're going to graph this. There's some certain things you have to have down. All right, axis of symmetry. We know how to do that. Let's do x equals -b over 2a. So that gives me x equals, b is 2, a is 1, and what do we get when we're done? We get 2 divided by 2, which is 1. 1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Okay. Draw that in as a dotted line. Now here's a problem a little bit here is at -1, you got these numbers right there kind of going through there. So just kind of draw a dotted line kind of between those numbers at -1. But go ahead and draw that in. That cuts our graph. Is it a positive one? Oh, crap.
Exactly.
Sorry. Positive one.
How's it positive one?
Oh, wait. It should be -2 over 2. I said it. I said 1. It should, well, I don't know what I said, but I should have written -1. So it should be -1, correct? All right.
My bad, Riley.
All right. Sorry about that. Draw in that dotted line. At least you don't have to erase it. That cuts it in half. So any point on the left-hand side, there'll be a mirror point on the right-hand side. Okay, the vertex. This is what we've just done. You got a little bit of room below there. To find the vertex, you plug in -1 to the equation, you plug in -1 into the equation. All right, read real carefully, because if you get this wrong, it's gonna make everything else a little more difficult. All right, and you also have to write as an ordered pair. The x value is -1. All right, what do I get here? -1 squared is 1. 2 times -1 is -2 minus 3. What does that end up equaling? -4. So -1, -4. That has to be on the axis of symmetry. So at -1, -4, put a dot. Does this graph open up or open down? Cindy?
That is not
What did you get?
I got 0.
You got 0?
What?
Okay. When you plug in -1, did you put it in parentheses? All right, so you get -4. The y-intercept, we just went over. Max, what's my y-intercept? All right, that's what we just went over. You can look at the equation and tell me what it is. Yep, the y-intercept is whatever the constant is at the end. And I'm gonna write it as a point, 0, -3. Okay, now here's where you gotta be careful. It says 2 other points, right? We need to pick 2 x values to plug into the equation. Now here's our rule. They have to be on the same side as the y-intercept. When I say same side, the axis of symmetry cuts it into 2 pieces, a left side and the right side. The y-intercept is on which side? It is clearly on the right side, so I need to pick 2 other points on that same side. What are the next 2? And I'm just going to make a small xy table. What are the next 2 points, the x values? You don't include the y-intercept, but what would be the next 2 x values I plug in? They got to be on the same side as the y-intercept. They got to be on the right-hand side. So skip over the 0 because we already have that. The next whole number I come to would be a 1, and then the next one would be a 2. So what we want to do is we want to plug in 1, and I want to plug in 2. So go ahead and plug in 1 into the equation, and then plug in 2 into the equation, and see what you get. Now and don't start plotting anything just yet in case you get off. But all you gotta do is plug them into your equation. So when I plug in 1, I get 1 plus 2 is 3. Do I get 0?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get 0. And how about when I plug in 2? 5? 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay. 1, 0 is right here.
Tell me I'm
2, 5.
I typed it in there. Oh, I should have been there.
All right, now here's what you got. You should have 3 points on the one side. That axis symmetry cuts it in half. It means every point on the right-hand side, there's a mirror point on the left-hand side. So we want to draw in those points. So go to this. The vertex is always on the axis symmetry, so that's only 1 point by itself. So I go up to this point, 0, -3. It is 1 unit away. I draw the mirror point on the other side. At 1, 0, that's 2 units away. I go 2 units away here. I go 3 units away here. So I should have the vertex, and then I should have 6 other points. So my 2 other points, I need to label those. It will be 1, 0, 2, 5. Okay. And they have to be on the same side as the y-intercept. Now go ahead and finish it off by drawing in the graph. Okay, and that's what it should look like. Nice and smoothly. Make sure it goes past the top, the highest point. Make sure you draw arrows on it. Those are all the answers to the equation. Okay, those are all the answers to the equation. All right, now that, we good? Okay. All right, that second one. You should kind of look at this and understand a few things before you even start. As you look at the equation, will this open up or open down? It's got to open down because negative 2x squared. Okay, axis of symmetry. That's going to be x equals negative b, so the opposite of negative 8 over 2 times negative 2. And what does that end up equaling so I don't make a mistake? Positive 2, right? Okay, before you go any further, go over to x equals 2. Draw in. Is it negative 2? Up. Good catch. Negative 2. So go over to negative 2. Okay, that cuts it in half. Any point on the left, you got a mirror point on the right. Any point on the right, mirror point on the left. 2 key points now, vertex and y-intercept. Vertex, you take whatever that, and this is a good job of, yeah, you caught me, because if I would plug in 2, I would get the wrong vertex. And so everything would look mixed up. You have, it's y equals negative 2. I'm plugging in negative 2 squared minus 8 times negative 2 plus 10. All right, I'm going to do this by hand. You can do it on your calculator. See if we match up. Go ahead and see what you get. Don't graph it yet. Let's see what you come up with. All right, Sophia says 18. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. Negative 8 times negative 2 is plus 16. Negative 8 plus 16 plus 10. That gives me positive 8 plus 10, 18. I agree. So it's negative 2, 18. Well, especially if I'm giving you a worksheet like this, it should fit on the page, so that makes sense because this one goes up a little bit higher than normal. Negative 2, 18. All right, y-intercept, take a second, think about it. We talked about it earlier. Lainey, do you remember how to find the y-intercept or what it is?
10.
It is that constant at the end. It is 10. It is 0, 10. All right, this tends to be the toughest part, understanding this. I need 2 other points, same side as the y-intercept. And I want whole number x values. I mean, I just throw this out there. Any ideas what they might be? Joey? 2 and 4. All right, I want them to be as close, and I need to clarify, they need to be as close to the axis of symmetry because they might not be on the graph as you can get. So start at the axis of symmetry and we want to move to the right. What is the first number we come to? What's that? Negative 1. I come to negative 1. That would be the first one I want to use. We don't use 0 because we already have that point. We already have the point 0, 10. So you skip over that. What would be the next number we use? 1. So here's the thing. Those are the 2 numbers you have to pick. If you pick anything else, you're going to get mixed up results. So pick 1 and pick negative 1. Plug those in. Using your calculator is fine. See what you come up with. Now remember, this opens down. Justice, you got what negative 1 is?
16.
All right, it says 16. Does anybody have what 1 is?
0.
0? All right, just make sure we agree on that. That looks right. All right, so -1, 16. 1, 0. We already have 0, 10. All right, draw the mirror image on the other side. So where the 16 is, on the other side, it'll actually be -3, 16. -4, 10. -5. It opens down, we said. Just extend a little bit past those points. Draw arrows on it. All right, good. That's the key point. Oh, there's 2 other points. I do want to list those up here on the line. -1, 16, 1, 0. Okay, on the same side as your y-intercept, which would be on the right-hand side. And they want to be as close to the axis of symmetry as you can get. Here's a problem. If you would pick 4 or 2, they would give you like -5, like numbers that wouldn't show up on the graph because it's going to keep going down. All right, let's do that bottom one. Here, we got the good old dolphin one. All right, the height and feet of a dolphin as it jumps out of water in an aquarium show can be modeled by this function, where x is the time in seconds after it exits the water. Find the dolphin's maximum height and the time it takes to reach this height. Okay, then find how long it's in the air. Here's what's happening. Okay, it jumps out of the water. Its path is a parabola. It goes back into the water. The highest point occurs right here, which is the what? Vertex. The vertex is also going to be halfway in between when it leaves the water and where it goes back into the water. So that's going to play a role. So before you write anything down, find the vertex. Well, how do you do that? It's just what we did yesterday. You got to find x equals, use x equals negative b over 2a. So now what is the equation? The equation is f of x. Okay, so for x equals negative b over 2a, it's going to be negative 32 over 2 times negative 16. In the end, it's going to be positive what? 1. Now to find the height, you got to plug in 1 into the equation. You got to plug 1 into the equation. So f of 1 is negative 16 times 1 squared plus 32 times 1. What's that end up equaling? 16. So my vertex is 1 comma 16. That's right there. What's your maximum height? 16. Maximum height is 16 feet. How long does it take to reach that maximum height? Any idea? John? 1 second. Is that x value? All right, now here's what's going on. What happens when you plug in 0 into this equation? What do you get back? You get back 0. So that is this point right here. The vertex is 116, which is right here. The vertex is always on the axis of symmetry. Okay, always. So that means if it starts at 0, 0, what point is going to be on the other side of the axis of symmetry? 2, 0. So this is what the graph looks like. This is what the graph looks like. All right, how do I answer that last question? What is the total time the dolphin's in the air? 2 seconds. Now, theoretically, we didn't even need to graph this. If you understand what's going on, you can find the vertex. It takes half the time to get to the vertex, and then it'll take the second half to land. So if it takes 1 second to get to the vertex, it'll take another 1 second to land. It doesn't hurt to have that in front of you, but on some of the problems, you won't need it. All right, the back is homework. The back is homework. I need you to look at number 2 because it's written a little bit funny. We gotta fix it a little bit. Number 2, how's it written?
Y plus 2x squared minus 4x minus 6 equals 0.
Okay, we want the y by itself. So basically, we want everything moved to the other side, and when we move everything to the other side, the only thing it does is it changes everything's what? Sign. So make it y equals negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 6. Now you'll graph it correctly. So for number 2, make sure you change that. Okay, that's it. 2 problems, exactly the same as we did. Same idea.